What is up, Facebook community? I am live here with Jade Darmawangsa. So if you guys are interested in making money online, specifically through YouTube, what I want you to do is just drop an emoji and we'll get you the link to her channel as well. So Jade is a 16-year-old YouTube sensation, social media, digital marketing expert, and someone who I'm selfishly very excited to talk about as well, because we were chatting before this. And we said that she was saying that she's just not your normal average 16-year-old. And I think that that is probably an understatement. So I'm excited to dig into your story, Jade, and hear kind of how you got started and why, and some things that people can do to go out there and do the same thing for themselves. So thanks for taking some time out of your day to do this, by the way.
Thank you, Hector, for that introduction. I've never been introduced like that. My name is Jade, and to make it really, really simple, I consider myself just a millennial entrepreneur, but my main business is, for everyone wondering, maybe if you're doing SMMA, you can totally relate to this. I do coaching on people growing their social media and business, but I think my little bit of difference between me and maybe my competitors is I really love the no bullshit approach. So a lot of my videos on YouTube are kind of either comedic, sarcastic, or just extremely super. I try to be funny and kind of bring a different perspective. I think that's the one thing I really want to double down in. And I also have podcasts. I built my brand on the back of YouTube, which also helped with Instagram. And my main passion is helping you guys grow on social media.
It's so cool because it's like, there's a lot of, first off, I'm so glad that you call yourself a millennial, because I was wondering, I was like, is she still one of us? Because I know
what have I considered? Would it be
I think Generation Z, right? You guys are way better and way cooler than millennials.
Sorry, so. I am a Generation Z.
My community is called Millennial Skills, or our brand is called Millennial Skills. And I think that it's really just a mindset of people who see the opportunity that is within the internet, and see the opportunity in this kind of new landscape that we live in, and aren't willing to just live by that old paradigm. And millennials were kind of the first to say that no bullshit, F that old system. And then you guys are like, why would we even do that? That's so stupid. Why, so take me back. You're 16 now. So where did the journey begin, and because it's funny, I was watching your YouTube channel, and you have this vlog where you're walking around, I think, Europe, and talking to clients. And it's just when I was 16 years old, I was trying to make it to class. You know what I mean? So take me back to where it started for Jade, and then kind of fill in the blanks to how you got here, where now I saw a video where you're generating tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, for your clients and their business. So fill us in on the blanks and how you got here.
Fill in. Okay. It has to go back to my parents. This sounds not like a birth story, but my dad's an entrepreneur. Okay. So I think right around the age of 7 or 8, I started an Amazon. That's another business. I just started a lot of online businesses without personal branding. My first actual personal brand was playing with toys. Literally, I feel like a lot of people, maybe your audience, are trying to fit in the entrepreneurial shoe, and it might not be a good fit for you. Maybe you've already learned that. Maybe you guys are still in the process of learning. But unlike a lot of people that just try to fit in the shoe, I already knew that the shoe was kind of made for me, and I don't try to exaggerate that, but I did start with YouTube, playing with toys. It's quite embarrassing. You guys can look up my name. It might pop up. Please don't. After that, by the age of 9, I started my online store, and it was just me getting stuff on AliExpress. You guys are drop shippers, maybe. It was pretty great. After that, I think 10 years old, I was like, man, I want to scale it. I can't imagine, looking back, I'm like, wow, this girl wants to scale a business. But I did an Amazon FBA store, and it was keychains. So that was fun. And I closed it down, not because I wasn't generating sales. It was $5,000 of sales for a 5th grader. That's pretty good a month. I stopped definitely due to pressure of school. And I'm Asian. So my parents were like, oh my gosh, this is kind of weird. They supported it. But my, when you have family that are Asian, other family members look down upon you if you're doing something cool. I literally think Gary Vaynerchuk, because of wine business, and me with my, I feel there's a bridge, but that's how I got started. And fast forward a little later, I did YouTube, and I post YouTube videos every day, ever since last year. So yeah.
And we were telling me that your YouTube, it was so crystal clear in your head. And man, like when I was 7 years old, once again, there was no internet. So that's the difference between, me and you. But it was just so crystal clear. And like, if they go to my YouTube, they'll end up as a client. Like if they go to my YouTube, they'll end up, down the funnel. You're like, that's the funnel. That's the funnel. So now what are people paying you to do? You mentioned that you have consulting, that you do coaching. And I know you also can you share at the end of it now what people are actually paying you to do or how you generate money today?
So it's really interesting. I have so much leverage at this point. I don't ask anything from my audience, which is really like, I don't have a course, although you can consider what I'm building in the future, of course. I'm actually, I would say I'm in the IT business with my family. I actually have a marketing agency with my family. That's the clients you were speaking of. That's the one we generated hundreds, thousands of dollars for. But in regards to me, I have so much leverage. I'm waiting for the right moment to get that jab punch. But for me, people are paying me just for consulting and strategy. I accidentally took a few implementation jobs, but I try to stay away from that. Most of my work is done just through, hey, this is what you have to do. This is how you get the followers, and this is how it converts into sales. And then in regards to everything else, I recently am trying to get also into speaking and public speaking, also sponsorships with brands. So most of it is strategy. And then further on, it will be in a form of an app so I can at least scale and I don't have to do one-on-one, which is hard because I can't be everywhere at the same time.
Yeah. I wish I had taken that approach because I'm doing implementation. Our agency does a lot of implementation for clients, and it's like,
oh, it's harder. But
so
services always do yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah.
But it's like a two-edged sword because that's what I love to do. And I know that if they were to do it on their own, they wouldn't do it as good as me. So I'm just kidding. But I think it's a very big differentiator in regards to the type of business that you're running. So I'm curious, and I want to see if there's anybody who've hopped on. Will, Dennis, Sheba, Jocelyn, if you guys are one of the 20 or so people who are on, I'd love it if there's one of three things that you can get out of here. If you're inspired, if you get some sort of information, right? Or if you get, maybe I think information, education, or entertainment, right? Those are really the three things. If there's one of those three things that you're getting, if you could please take your finger or your thumb or your mouse and hit the like button. I think that Jade's story is so powerful to really show that there's no excuses, right? So I always like to get into kind of the story because I think people can relate because you just blew past it, but you said that your family started to kind of look down, whether it was
I can totally. Do you want me to elaborate more on that?
I'm curious, if you can frame it in like, what was that experience like, especially as a young kid, and how did you find the courage to push past it and say, like, I know all of you guys don't think that this is a good idea right now, but like, I got this. Like where did that come from, or how did that happen, or was there a moment that you kind of knew?
So I think it's 50-50 emotional and financial. I'm not a rich kid. I grew up in a rich area. I used to live in LA. By the way, guys, I'm based in Portland, Oregon right now. So if you guys were like, how did you move? I literally moved to Texas when the economy went shit in 2008. That was when I had a real struggle. My parents are super fine. My dad's an entrepreneur. And it's more of like, because I'm not gonna lie, we came from a very wealthy family. Being an entrepreneur, and like, why didn't you go to another, like, Jade, why aren't you going to school? I dropped out of school. So obviously there's a little tension in just my family's family. I think for me, I'm not affected. I'm an only child. I'm like, screw you. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even speak Asian. I've never learned to speak Chinese or Indonesian, which is my nationality, because
you said it. You're the one that said you don't speak Asian. I didn't say that on the call. You said it.
I don't speak good English. Wait, what? I don't even speak, my vocabulary shit. Okay. So basically 50% of it is mostly, external things I couldn't control. And I'm like, wait, I feel like I can control this crap. Like at this point, it was probably when I was, 15. So last year, wow, this is crazy. I was definitely in a place where I was like, I want to start YouTube again. I had friends that were like, screw you, Jade, go to school. I didn't drop out until later this year or early this year. So the basic story is I had a bad financial situation. I wanted to pay for stuff. My dad couldn't help me. No one was helping me. I try to double down what I can do. So I sold stuff on eBay. I was a hardcore eBay seller. I used to do Amazon, but I didn't have enough capital. You guys know drop shipping takes a lot of money and upfront, and you don't even know if the product will perform. So I was just selling, I was flipping stuff on eBay, and then that was like 14, 15. And then I got into something called high school. And when you're in high school in America, you try to be cool. And what's cool there is not doing anything entrepreneurial.
Right.
So,
It's not doing anything. What's cool is like chilling. Like
oh
that's
yeah,
cool, right?
chilling, partying. And
Right.
I'm so happy because I was raised, I'm an only child. I think I mentioned this before. And people always say, like, wow, Jade, you don't have friends. Like, it's really lonely. But that's like the one advantage I have is I don't depend on anybody. And there's a point in high school where, like, man, I got to have these peeps behind my back because I'm going to look cool. But because I was raised as an only child, it really literally clicked. It was August 2017, like last year. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was literally like, yo, mom, dad, like, I feel like I'm better than this. And it wasn't more of like a problem. I just kind of realized that if I'm broke, I can fix it. Like I've been in the past. So a lot of the external problems was through high school cliques. And I just said, screw you. I left all my friends. And I have a few friends. I'm not lonely, but everyone's like wondering like, wow, you're very, very focused. And that's why I'm very focused. And it has to do with being an only child and the way my parents raised me, which is a lot of confidence and over the top. I'm really dramatic. So I love to be on camera. So I'm obsessed with myself. It's a really, really weird combination of why I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Well, it's great because I mean, I always talk about it as like tools, right? And I think the difference between millennials and everybody after us is that we were now given tools that our parents and our grandparents didn't have. The reason that I'm so passionate about, chatbots and what I talk about is because the startup cost is literally zero. It's a Facebook page, it's a free chatbot account, and it's a free PayPal account, and you're off to the races. And there's no excuses other than your own of why you can't go out there and make money. And you said that you're really big on like the no BS aspect. So when you realized this and you made this decision and commitment, like in your head, like what was the game plan? Like you were going to go like you saw like a path to it, like I can imagine, or did you not? Like, what was that like when you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm in, I'm going to do this social media thing and like face there.
Okay. So that's really interesting. I feel like maybe your audience is into similar things and getting a course, self-learning, and you're not going to go to an entrepreneurship school. So I knew in my head I was going to do the same thing, but I don't even have money for a course. I was, I'm like really young. And then my dad over there, he's working, and his clients especially are apparel brands, and he does digital marketing for them. And that's going very well. And I was literally that person that was like, I think I want to beat my dad. So I started a second digital marketing agency in the same household. And it's not a bad idea, but I live in a city where we have basically the same clients. It's not the demand for marketing is not as high because it's a little bit smaller. A lot of people believe in still word of mouth marketing on paper, paper advertising. So it's just not going to work. I quickly learned in about 3 months that me starting a digital agency while my dad has already a successful digital agency, it doesn't make sense. So I was like, I was definitely going through a phase, and you guys might too, where you might start something and you might be super embarrassed to get rid of it because failure, especially when you're in a friend group, it helped because I didn't really have friends. That sounds super sad. Anyways, I just was like, frick, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be pretentious, and I don't want to be the person that's like, hey guys, look at my Lamborghini in the back, because I felt like that's how I was becoming. I took a Tai Lopez course. So anyways, fast forward, I think, I'm not even sure what the question was, but you told me that what's the biggest emotion you saw, and I think it's definitely realizing who I really was, which wasn't pretentious, which is no BS. And that's my favorite approach. And I realized a lot of courses give a lot of fluff. So on YouTube, I just gave everything I had for free. And then from there, I'm not going to lie, most of my traffic was from this one video called How to Grow on Instagram, because I was obsessed with social media.
It had like 200,000 views on it.
It has almost 400,000 right now. And I was literally like, someone's buying me views. I was so confused. And yeah, that's how I keep on going. And I always remember that the only reason why I'm here, and if I always believe if you have fast expansion can also mean fast contraction. And you don't want to have fast contraction. So I always remember that what got me here was being no bullshit and being really honest and not pretentious. So I keep continuing that, and I plan not to give up until I don't know, YouTube gets a new competition. I don't know, maybe we'll move on to Vero or something.
So let's talk about that, because I'm selfishly curious. if you go on my YouTube channel, it's funny. I started I had a YouTube channel and very rarely post to it because I have my own reasons. But I decided and committed and realized that Facebook Live was not just going to be the only way that I was going to build a business. Because I built a successful one right here on Facebook. But a lot of people think that, and I had this thought at one point, that YouTube is dead or YouTube is old or that whatever. Why YouTube? Like, why do you make YouTube kind of the starting point for your funnel? Like, what are some of the advantages that are there? And then one question that came in, which I just thought was interesting, was Cappuccino says he's trying to make it in he's trying to be a YouTuber, trying to make it in the African market. So I think that means he's trying to be successful in the African market. So does that matter? And what can you speak a little bit about YouTube and then how someone can kind of grow there? And
I actually want to throw a question at you. Why do you think YouTube's dead? Or
I don't. I had that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had that thought, and I think that a lot of people, because it's old and because it's not the sexy thing anymore, it's not the Snapchat, it's not the Instagram
So what is the new sexy thing?
What was the app that you just mentioned before, the new one that you have to pay to be on?
It's called Vero.
Right. Like I think that there are a lot of people who are like, oh, let's get on there, as opposed to, wait a minute, there's already YouTube, which has this massive machine behind it. And so, guys, I mean, you guys are out there. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you've heard that. I remember when I was building my business, I was like, oh, YouTube, and I opted to go towards Facebook. And I think that similarly, some people have that sentiment. You don't. So what? Like, give me the no BS response on why YouTube is the place to really build your business.
So I agree. I think maybe I don't know. I have a different perspective. It's not dead. It's saturated. But even then, when people give excuses that a platform is saturated, but there's still so much money in the industry and there's so much attention there, I'm like, can you really say it's like no? So I think what's happening is right now on YouTube and maybe Instagram. But specifically, I feel like people are really happy and comfortable with Instagram, starting their personal brand there. Because the thing is, the difference between YouTube and like Instagram is like YouTube's literally a full-time job. Video is a lot more, it's harder to work with. Mm-hmm. And I think why I pick YouTube, I think I like being on camera. So it doesn't really make sense for me to start anywhere else other than YouTube, which is meant for video streaming. That's just for me, personal reasons. Also, they have distribution. They have I think one of the best SEO keywords for entrepreneurship, because I don't think people are tapping it into, maybe not even you, like you're not tapping fully into keywords and SEO for YouTube, because Instagram, like hashtags are bullshit sometimes. Right. Like, do you actually go on hashtag? Okay. So I think Instagram has attention, but YouTube has distribution. Mm-hmm. I didn't run any ads on my YouTube channel, and I have friends who pay thousands of dollars for AdWords. And I think YouTube it's a very minimal cost. It just takes a lot of time, right? You either have time or you have money. So at the time, I just don't have money. So YouTube was a space for me. And I think the way you don't make it saturated is just implement what's current. So I think people are basically recycling the same information on what everyone knows. So that's why I love the no bullshit approach. That's why I think in regards to starting a YouTube channel and trying to get traction, it's very hard and it's a full-time job. It's not saturated. I just think people are repeating shit because they don't want to be creative. And also with VR, I don't think it's going to go away. I feel like Amazon in the future might create the next YouTube, or there's definitely going to be something that's going to replace YouTube or overcome it. But for now, I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple of years. I think VR is going to have a whole toll on YouTube, and people are going to start vlogging on VR. Same with Alexa and podcasting too.
Wow. I'm getting my VR this week. So you are getting me stoked here. It's so weird how much fun and excitement I've been having these conversations with teenagers. I feel a little weird about that because I was just telling you that my last interview was with a 17-year-old. And one of the reasons I'm so excited about highlighting these is because it takes out all the excuses. There's just no, for everybody who's watching out there, and there's like 20 of you who are on live right now. If you're here, let me know if you say hi. If you guys have any questions, just say hi. And I'm curious, we're both on the West Coast here. Where are you guys tuning in from? We had cappuccino was all the way from Africa. So let me know where you guys are watching this from.
Hector, I have a question for you. I know
Yeah.
you're the reviewer. What are you currently obsessed with in regards to?
You've been watching Gary's pod sessions, huh? I am. It's been VR and crypto, frankly.
Are you heavy? What's your views on crypto right now?
I just bought another. I bought one Ethereum coin a couple of days ago. Because it's been down and people are, so I don't think that it's going away. I don't think that I'm not like a Bitcoin fanatic. I'm a blockchain.
Blockchain, right, for sure.
Yeah, I'm more bullish on the fact that blockchain is going to do to the financial industry what the internet did to communications. So I'm very bullish on that, and kind of I'm very just bullish on the opportunity that Ethereum has and how it's kind of, it's this open source opportunity for people. So for that, I've got maybe 6 or 7 different alts that I'm invested in right now. There was a point, late last year where I was checking my portfolio like 6 or 7 times a day, and I just realized that that's not healthy anymore. So I just have transitioned a little bit into more of a long-term hodler than someone who's looking to kind of day trade all the time. So that's where I'm at now. Yeah, I know that you didn't ask for all that, but for the rest of you guys who are tuning in, I guess you guys might care. Was there another question out there? Do we have a question that we oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. So for YouTube, like, what are like the must-dos, right? You talked about like it being distribution. Like, what are some like the must-dos that people have to do? Especially, I know obviously you follow Gary a lot. I can just tell. Like in making it really native to YouTube. How do I really make sure that it's something that's made for YouTube? Because I think that that's maybe the best way to get organic and native traction.
So I think I have to give a lot of credit to my team. Yeah, I feel like no one taught. Everything is a lot about what you can do. There's a lot of things you really can't do, and I feel like a lot of the times we're so focused on things that don't create traction, which is editing and the video processing. So this tip: get a team. If you don't have money, get an intern team. So I feel like team is very crucial. You can't do all yourself. Second thing is I feel like there's a misconception in, wow, like I don't know, people want 1 million subscribers, but I don't think people realize. I always say, why do you want 1 million? They're like, I want 1 million because I need to be rich. How much do you want to make, right? Someone like says a random number, like, I don't know, like a couple million as well. And I'm just like, you don't need that much. And I kind of believe in the 1,000 true fans rule. Like, you really don't need that much. And when you break it down, if you're able to I always say chunk it up, or like milk the cow, which is like milk keyword cow. I don't know if you've seen that on my channel, but
no.
It's okay. The idea is you take a macro topic, which is cryptocurrency, and you milk it all the way down until there's no more. Too many people hop between different ideas. For example, whatever's cool is what they talk about next. But I'm not even talking about cryptocurrency. I'm literally talking about when you make a video for the next 37 days, you're going to say, how to blockchain for beginners, blockchain for people over 30, blockchain for people that are in high school. Like, if you can do it by demographic and you literally do that for the next 30 days, and maybe this might help you, that's what you do. That's how you get traction. And the biggest thing is, once there's a decline or a maturity in a topic, you have to move. People either do the following: they don't stay long enough, or they stay too long. And that's very damaging. And some people don't even.
You're talking about content creators or consumers?
I'm talking about people who create content for their business to get, So if you have a business or you're trying to sell a product, I would say make content around the following. It should be something that's time sensitive, and you can milk it all the way down for at least 2 months every day. By the way, I'm talking about like daily YouTube videos. If you can't do that, you can fill in the blank. But I feel like my biggest tip other than team building is how long are you staying on a topic? And if you're staying too long, move for the next one, or else it's going to mature and your channel is going to decline. So that's what I say for starting a YouTube channel. That timing has a huge aspect.
Wow. This is huge, guys. If you're getting any value out of this, take your finger, your thumbs, all of them, your elbows, whatever you got to do, and slam on that like button, because this is just huge. I love it. So Jade, they're asking, Dennis says, what's your YouTube channel called? And I think it's your name, right?
Yeah. So if you have problems with my last name, I always say it's Jade Darmawangsa, or you can just search how to grow on Instagram. Surprisingly, I think I'm like the second search, if that's easier. It's just my name.
I love it. And I think Gracie, is your one like Jade Delicious Joy? Is that you?
Okay, that's my doll channel. Yeah, you can find that too.
Is that your doll? That's the one got posted in the comments. Someone found that posted.
Okay, I'm just joking. You guys can't find it. I swear. There's actually multiple channels. I have 5 of them, so don't even try.
I love it. Guys, if you guys have questions, throw those down there. We've been chatting for a little bit here with Jade Darmawangsa. And Jade, we have people here from Miami, Florida, LA, Sydney, the UK, Philippines, Texas. So it's just so cool what, fuck age, who cares? I put the age out there because it's a headline thing. Like, I think that age doesn't really matter, whether someone's old and they're 75 years old or they're 16 years old. Like, I mean, I've had this is one of the most, stimulating conversations I've had with anybody, in the last little bit. So let's, as the kind of final topic is for somebody out there who's like, you've inspired them, Jade, and you're like, fucking A, Jade, there's no bullshit. This is great. I'm going to go do it. What's kind of like, I know you work with people for like consulting and stuff like that. What coaching, what's kind of like those first few formative steps, or like the first, like, okay, wait a minute, but we got to do this first, or like, all right, let's go, but we got to go in this direction. Like,
so are you talking about how I did it, or how you would suggest someone to start a consulting business similar to mine?
For example, let's see. John Capose says, what about someone who's older like me? He did his first video about 10 years ago, but he wants to start again. So for someone who is like, all right, I've realized that I want to build a kind of a personal brand utilizing video. Jade, what do I do?
Okay.
Where do you take it? What questions do you ask?
I think your follower said, John, he did YouTube for 10 years and now he wants to start. Those 10 years don't matter. When I used to do a doll channel, do you think my thousands of subscribers really transferred over to my marketing channel? Like, it doesn't matter. So don't use that anything. It's just going to make people are going to unsubscribe. In regards to how now you're like starting fresh, it's not supposed to, I guess, I don't want to say like, don't like, you're not going to expect much, but don't expect much. Or I guess when everyone's trying to reach for their first $1 million, which is cool now, I always think like, what about your first 10,000 on YouTube? So my biggest tip is, I have this acronym actually. It's called FEAT. So the F stands for free shit. And then I talk about how to get your first few people by giving so much for free. And I don't really mean like, hey guys, like use your little like email marketing, sign up for my newsletter. Like, no, like not like that. Like, it's very, very like, there's no asking at all. You don't want to ask for anything in the first few stages, just so you can get more leverage and people subscribe. And I guess for the direction, I think you need to think about is, I think my favorite thing ever is called thinking about your KPI, your key performance index. People are measuring the wrong thing. For example, maybe you may, like, when you think about growing a channel, do you think about a goal, and what is your goal? Like, a couple subscribers? Like, did you ever put a limit on yourself?
For me, I really look for watch time.
Right. Yes, that's what I want to look for too.
Woo!
So I feel like a lot of people, that's just good, also do watch time.
I was guessing. I was like, shit, I hope I don't get this wrong.
Yes. So measure watch time, measure your audience retainment percentage. I think a good channel should do 90%. Most of you guys, which I used to do, was like 20%.
What is, I don't know that last stat that you said.
Oh, so in regards to watch minutes, like that's great too, but my favorite is audience retainment percentage. So how long are people staying through? Because I think the minutes give you like an overall accomplishment, but when you know how many of the percentage of people when they're dropping off, if you go on Google or YouTube Manager and you find that point where people drop off, you always can improve. And I feel like that's what you measure instead of like looking at your social blade every single day at your followers. I love measuring. Like going to YouTube analytics is great. There's a lot of traffic sources too. You get to know where people come from, what searches do well. And I think knowing your KPI is the biggest tip ever. So yeah.
Wow. That's great. And so that can be found in YouTube analytics. So it's just like, and that's basically like the drop off point essentially.
I literally see where people click off. I'm like, whoa, I set this one line. It's typically one line, guys. And when you find it, you never say it again and you keep learning. And that's what I do.
Really? It was like one line that people dropped off and they were like, I'm going to stop watching.
Yeah, it's typically when you're like, hey guys, by the way, like when you say, by the way, like people are like, fuck you, like click off.
Yeah. So, 3 people just dropped off right now, actually.
Wow. I knew it.
Guys, this is huge. Dennis says you're a superstar with lots of brains and drive. I agree. That's awesome. If you guys have any questions, we've got just a few minutes left here with Jade as well. Jade, we've talked a lot about YouTube, and that's where you spend most of your energy, driving people there and building a community. You've got tens of thousands of followers subscribers on YouTube and Instagram. What's there? Like what can people find on your YouTube, or what do you kind of use that for in terms of helping and giving value to other people?
So, thank you. So I think you guys might look at my YouTube and be like, wow, she talks a lot about Instagram. You guys can like see the pattern. I'm really trying to milk the cow. I probably will talk about Instagram for the next, as long as it's trending. But my main passion, actually, I'm actually more of a content strategist or distributing strategist in anything with business. So whether you're starting a dropshipping company, I've handled that before. If you're an artist marketing is one of my favorites. And for everyone doing SMMA, you guys can check out my channel. And one of my biggest projects, YouTube is like my life, but then my actual life is developing kind of like this kind of app development project for something called Personal Brand Journey. It's gonna like be an acronym like PBJ, like the sandwich. I was trying to be catchy with the words, but the idea is it's kind of just like a course where if you really like my content, you guys get like the step-by-step. And I feel like a lot of people create work on YouTube for free, but it's harder to see what the direction is when there's no checklist or there's not step-by-step process. So that's the idea. It's developing, but if you want to hop on YouTube or email me, that'd be great too. And I love to meet you guys.
I dig it. I was just pulling up her link. I'm going to post her. It is, I think that they put the right link earlier. I don't think they linked to your doll one. So I think
it probably just like bled into each other. There's like multiple of those.
So guys, I would go follow her. I'm subscribing. And it's selfishly because, YouTube and Instagram are the things that I am least knowledgeable on, and you guys can obviously see here in just a few minutes the kind of just the level of knowledge that Jade has. So I'm going to throw her YouTube link into the description or into the comments, and I'll pin that up there, guys. I would encourage you guys to go follow her as well and subscribe in all the places. Let's see here. I want to make sure, Jade, any last things that you want to share before we get up out of here?
I just want to let you know, I always like to like ask your viewers if you want to take away something. Always remember, if you take away anything, ask yourself, what are you measuring and why? And to really know what you're actually doing. So many people, my friends especially, they create businesses that kill them inside because maybe they wanted to quit their job and travel, but they built a monster, which is their business, that allows them to do nothing. So make sure you guys realize what you really want to, what you value in life, and don't really kill yourself with work or trying to create a business that you might hate actually in the end. So always think about the why and be careful, because building a business is fun, but it can actually make you really depressed really quickly.
And on that note, go build a business.
Yes.
See you guys later.
For sure.